Hi, thanks for coming back for the last 3 stories of the Faces of Easter. In the first video, we did the stories of Jesus as a baby, Jesus in the temple as a young boy, Jesus' baptism by John the Baptist, and his 40 days and 40 nights in the desert. Jesus came back across the Jordan River and began to do his work. But what was his work? His work was to come close to people, especially the people no one else wanted to come close to. See, he has come close to the blind man. He is so close that he has touched the blind man's eyes. When Jesus came close to people, they changed. They could see things they could never see before. They could do things they could never do before. They became well. Jesus also told parables. Finally, he knew that he had to become a parable. So he turned toward Jerusalem for the last time. Now I wonder if there's anything in your house or anything you can think of from our Godly Play classroom that reminds you of this story. Press pause, find those things, and talk about those things, and then come back and join us. Jesus went to Jerusalem for the last time. It was the time of the Passover, and the city was full of people from many different lands. They thought Jesus was coming to be king, but they weren't paying attention. He wasn't riding on a great white horse when he came into the city. He wasn't being carried by soldiers. He was riding on a donkey, and it wasn't even his. He had borrowed it. Still that Sunday, when Jesus came into Jerusalem, people waved palm branches, which were a sign of kings. On Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Jesus went into the temple to teach. Every night he went back to the Mount of Olives with the 12. The people watched him and whispered that the Mount of Olives was where angels were supposed to come down to make an army to drive away the Roman soldiers. One day, when Jesus was teaching in the temple, he said, "Do you see that old woman over there? She's going to put something in the money box. Listen." Did you hear anything? No. She put the smallest coin there in the box. That was all the money that she had. Now here comes a rich man. He has so much money to put into the money box that he had to have help to carry it. His money made a huge clang and ringing as they pour it into the box. Now I wonder which one gave the most, the old woman or the rich man? Some say the rich man gave the most, but some said the old woman. The temple guards said, "On Thursday we will take him." But on Thursday, they could not find him. That evening, Jesus and the 12 hurried through the dark streets to a house. They climbed up the stairs to an upper room, and they shared their last meal together. After they had everything they wanted to eat, Jesus took some bread, and he gave thanks to God for it. Then he broke it and said something like, "Whenever you break the bread like this and share it, I will be there." He also took a cup of wine, gave thanks to God for it, and said, "Whenever you share a cup of wine like this, I will be there." What was he talking about? He was always saying things like that. How could they know? Still, they did not forget, and later they would understand. Suddenly, Judas got up and left. The rest sang a hymn and then went to the Garden of Gethsemane and the Mount of Olives. Jesus wanted to pray. When he was finished, he joined the 12, but Judas came out of the dark and greeted him. This was a sign for the temple guards to take him. They too came out of the shadows and took Jesus away with them into the night. The 12 disappeared into the darkness as well. Now, I wonder if there's anything in your home or in our Godly Play classroom that reminds you of these stories. Press pause, take some time and talk about those things or find those things, and then come back and join me for the final face of Easter. The night was a confusing one. The next day, Jesus was taken outside the walls of the city and crucified. That afternoon, Jesus died. The sky grew dark. Jesus was taken down from the cross and buried in a cave. A great stone was rolled into the opening of the cave to close it like a door. Jesus was so quiet Saturday was so quiet you could almost hear the earth breathing. On Sunday, it was the woman who had the courage to go to the tomb just to be close to Jesus. They wanted to remember, even if it was sad. When they came to the tomb, they found that the stone had been rolled back and that the tomb was empty. Jesus had died on the cross, but somehow he was still with them as he was with us, especially in the bread and the wine. When you look at this side, you know that the other side is there. When you look at this side, you know that this side is there. And you cannot pull them apart. This is the mystery of Easter. And it makes all the difference. And so the colors change. Wait a minute. There's something wrong. Here is the beginning and the middle and the end. Look, if we only have this side, then we have an end. But there is also this side. The ending is also a beginning, so we can't leave the story in a line. Let's see what we can do. Now, the story can go on forever. I wonder what part of the story you liked the best. I wonder what part of the story is the most important part to you. I wonder where you are in this story. What part of the story is about you? I wonder if there is any part of this story that we can leave out and still have all the story that we need. Thank you for sharing the faces of Easter with me, and I hope you have a wonderful Lenten season. Bye.